Good afternoon and welcome to the joint hearing of the Committee on Education and the Committee on Higher Education. My glasses are fogging up. Today is Wednesday, March 15, 3:00 p.m. in hearing room 229. This meeting, including the audio and video of remote participants, is being streamed live on YouTube. You will find links to viewing options for all Senate meetings on the live and on-demand video page of the legislature's website. This Zoom meeting and YouTube live stream event will include the 3:00 agenda for the Committee on Education and the Committee on Higher Education. In the unlikely event that we have to abruptly end this hearing due to major technical difficulties, the committees will reconvene to discuss any outstanding business on Friday, March 18th, 2022 at 3 p.m. in this conference room, and a public notice will be posted on the legislature's website. I'd like to take this time to remind our testifiers that due to time restrictions on our hearings, we will be limiting testimony to 1 minute per testifier per bill. For people participating remotely, please remain muted and video disabled until shortly before it is your turn to testify. When I call your name, unmute yourself and your time will begin. After your minute is completed, staff will mute you so that we can move this hearing along in an orderly and efficient manner. Thank you. We will begin with House Bill 1775, House Draft 2, relating to civil rights, requires entities with state education programs or activities or that receive state funding for educational programs or activities to adopt written policies and undertake other specified actions no later than January 1st, 2023, requires annual reports to legislatures appropriate funds. To begin, we have Keith Hayashi, Interim Superintendent for the Department of Education.
Good afternoon, Chairs Kidani and Chairs Mercado Kim and members of both committees. Sean Bacon, Interim Assistant Superintendent for the Office of Talent Management, speaking on behalf of Interim Superintendent Keith Hayashi and the Department of Education. We stand on our written testimony and support and are available to answer any questions and are thankful for the legislature's support. Thank you.
Thank you, Sean. Next to testify, Annie Horiuchi, Deputy Attorney General.
Good afternoon, Chairs Kidani and Kim and members of the committees, and Horiuchi, Deputy Attorney General, providing comments on behalf of the department. As stated in our testimony, given what's occurring at the federal level regarding the revisions to the Title IX regulations, it may be advisable to wait for the adoption of the final rules to ensure that the state statutes and rules are consistent with the final federal regulations. However, if the bill continues to move, the department requests that the bill be amended to define the term educational program or activity in order to specify which entities would be mandated to comply with the requirements of House Bill 1775. Thank you for the opportunity to testify, and I'll stand by for questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Next to testify, Yvonne Lau, Interim Executive Director, State Public Charter School Commission.
Good afternoon, Chair Kidani, Chair Kim, and members of the committee. We thank you for your support and support this bill and stand on our written testimony. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Yvonne. Next to testify, Jan Govea, Vice President Administration for University of Hawaii. Is Jan there?
Not present, Chair.
Thank you. Their testimony is in support. Next to testify, Leanne Ibesugawa, Chair, testifying for Hawaii Civil Rights Commission.
Aloha, Chair Kidani, Chair Mercado Kim, members, Bill Hoshijo for the Hawaii Civil Rights Commission. You have our written testimony in support of the bill with strong concern over the bill's statutory mandate that in any conflict between the state Title IX corollary and the federal Title IX law, federal law shall prevail. Our concern is discussed at pages 4 to 6 of our testimony, and I'll be available for questions.
Thank you, Bill. Next to testify, Yonggi Overly, Public Policy Chair for AAUW of Hawaii.
Good afternoon, Chair Kim, Chair Kidani, and members of the committee. Thank you for this opportunity to testify. I am representing both Hawaii Women's Coalition as well as AAUW here today. You have our written testimony, and I'm here to answer any questions you may have. I just want to emphasize that previous federal administration has proven to us advocates why it is so important that we have a strong state Title IX laws to protect our students. So that's the only thing in addition that I would like to comment on. So we are in support. Thank you.
Thank you, Yonggi. Next to testify, Michael Goloyi Jr. Is Michael present?
Not present, Chair.
Thank you. This testimony is in support. Next to testify, Linda Elento.
Good afternoon. I'm Linda Elento. Thank you for the opportunity just to share a brief testimony. This is also my son, Jason Elento. He didn't sign up for testimony, but I want to introduce him. He's been participating in the legislative internship program with the Keiki Caucus. So it's a step-by-step learning experience. So
I can't believe it's been that long.
it has been
Grown
that.
so much.
Yes, it has, Kidani. So where I'm teaching him, but also you all are teaching him. So I appreciate it. And this is just, I had some comments for this particular bill regarding civil rights. I think between schools and other situations, we have lots of opportunities to have our civil rights taken away in the way we're being treated. So I appreciate your looking into the civil rights of everyone, including students. But basically, I wanted to share, in addition, or just, you have my written testimony, so I have different thoughts and ideas there. I'd appreciate your consideration, because there are other bills in that I've seen over the years, and Hawaii Revised Statutes 368-1.5 and 386D. They are related, giving the Hawaii Civil Rights Commission jurisdiction over certain types of complaints. So having to rewrite 386 or 368, I apologize, I think it's 368, so I get that confused.
368
Correct, thank
and
you.
386.
That I'd like to see that. Hope I wrote it right. It has to do with our bill today. But I just hope that there aren't too many rewrites and more descriptions. I kind of share the same point as the Hawaii Civil Rights Commission. They briefly talked about it in their monthly meeting earlier today. And anyway, as far as charter schools go, having been a mom of 3 kids at charter schools, one with special needs, I'd like to ask that they have what they need, the resources in order to protect their own students. But being a charter school, funding is an issue. So if you look at the DOE, they already have their equity specialists. They were meant for the gender equity issues, but I've pushed that they make sure they get training for 504 disability issues. So I would hope that those equity specialists could take on the responsibility of making sure that the charter school students, just like the special ed students that the DES is at the DOE oversee, can take care of them as well. So I appreciate the opportunity. If you have any questions,
Thank you, Linda.
look me up. Thank you. Bye.
Next to testify, Ann Freed for the Democratic Party of Hawaii Women's Caucus. Hello, Ann.
Aloha, Chair Kim, Chair Kidani, members. This is my first time doing this on Zoom. This is kind of amazing. We have this kind of access. I just want to say I really appreciate it. And I want to say I stand on my written testimony and pretty much concur with everything that my colleague Yonggi Overly had to say. That's it for me. Thanks.
Thank you so much. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to testify that has not provided testimony? No, thank you. Members, are there any questions of our testifiers?
I have a question
Senator Algaran.
for the Attorney General.
Yes.
I have a question, more in regards to what the Civil Rights Commission is raising, that right now, I guess, Chapter 368 could actually be more expansive in terms of protections afforded by the state corollary chapter, what is it? In whatever chapter we're looking at, 368. But they're concerned about language that's being added now, that the scope of this would be limited to what the federal actually approves. And I think your testimony suggests that we wait until the federal rules are approved. But right now, don't we have the authority to be stricter?
Yes, I mean, well, I
No,
guess.
you
our
answered my question. Thank you.
Further questions?
For the AG, continue, I'll follow up on that. So currently, isn't the schools or any educational entity that's receiving state funding now, like the University of Hawaii schools, can't they adopt their own policies?
Yes. Yes, and they
Right.
would be working to be in compliance with Title IX, and I think this chapter is meant to be the state corollary to Title IX. Our concern, though, is that right now, the Title IX regulations are being revised at the federal level, and so we're concerned about potential confusion if there are inconsistencies between the federal Title IX regulations and what is set forth in state law or regulation.
Okay, but the individual entities, education entities can in fact put into their written policies, right? I mean, without this measure, they can still do that.
Yes.
Yes, and so I guess I'm just concerned, like with the university, for not doing it and not having done this and having to wait for us to do a measure. I know there's certain things like the data and perhaps the positions, but certainly they have been, and we've been encouraging them to do so, which they've not done. And, you know, they keep telling us, especially the university, how they have autonomy and we shouldn't be meddling and we shouldn't be telling them what to do. And yet they don't do what they're supposed to be doing. And so in this case, it's okay for us to meddle, but in other cases, it's not. So I continue to raise this issue. So thank you.
Sure.
Thank you, members. Further discussion? Okay. Moving
Actually, I
on.
do have a follow-up with the AG.
Yes,
So do you disagree with what the preamble in this bill that suggests that the Trump administration did cut back on how Title IX should be applied? And that it's okay for the state to be stricter and to set standards that are a lot higher than what the federal government has?
I'm not disagreeing with the preamble. No, I think we're just concerned about inconsistencies between federal law and whatever might be passed by the state.
But if but when you're saying that you're basically saying we should go ahead and just follow what the Trump administration did then, if those rules are the ones that are implemented. Is that what you're saying?
Now, my understanding is that the Biden administration is making revisions to the Trump administration's rules that in all likelihood will may reverse some of what was passed by the Trump administration.
Okay, but then I don't understand your point then. If you're saying that we need to be consistent, then you're basically saying that if the Biden administration doesn't follow through, then we need to be consistent with the Trump administration standards then.
Well, I'm sorry, I need to just reiterate the position of the department that we just want to make sure that we're not creating confusion by having inconsistencies. I think what would be especially confusing is that what's set forth in the bill is that if there is a conflict, then the federal rules would apply. And so to the extent the federal rules are more narrow, then there will be confusion at the state level in terms of what is applicable and what is not.
That's if that language stays in here, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Thank you. Kim, did you have a question of the university?
Well, is the university on? Do we have a representative from the University of Hawaii?
I guess you'll have to email your questions. Sorry. Members, if there's no further questions, we're going to move on to the next bill.
Which is So House Bill 1848, House Draft 2, relating to student journalism. This establishes freedom of speech and freedom of the press protections for student journalists producing school-sponsored media or university-sponsored media unless subject to certain exemptions. And here to testify on this measure. Keith Hayashi, DOE.
Hi. Good afternoon, both chairs Makoto Kim and Kidani and members of the committee. I'm Terry Ushijima, Interim Assistant Superintendent with the Department of Education, testifying on behalf of Interim Superintendent Keith Hayashi. We stand on our written testimony and respectfully offer comments on HB 1848 House Draft 2 and would like to additionally note, if passed, the need for an appropriation to provide training to students, teachers, advisors, and administrators related to the provisions contained in this measure. Thank you.
Thank you. Laverne Moore from HSTA.
Aloha, Chair and members of the committee. The Hawaii, I speak on behalf of also to Junior HSTA President. The Hawaii State Teachers Association supports this bill in relation to student journalism. We have our testimony, but on a personal note, I'm from McKinley High School, and Ms. Reeves, who will be testifying, has worked for 6 years to get this passed at the legislature. Why? Because she wants it into statutes. Statutes set standards, principles, and procedures that must be followed in Hawaii in regard to student journalism and implements justice in our society. Yes, the Board of Ed has a policy, but statute is stronger than a policy. Hawaii needs a law that protects the First Amendment rights of student journalists. To support our teachers and students, the HSTA urges this committee to pass this bill. Mahalo.
Thank you. Jay Hartwell, Hawaii Publishers Association, in support. Hillary Davis, Student Press Law Center, also in support. Ryan Kivailani, an individual in support. I'm sorry, Kivailani Ozawa. Cynthia Reeves, individual in support. Cynthia?
Thank you for the opportunity to testify in support of this bill. My name is Cindy Reeves. I'm in my 10th year advising the student newspaper at McKinley High School. I was a high school and college student journalist, now as an educator helping young people grow as writers, leaders, and thinkers through the production of a school newspaper is my greatest privilege. Current law and state policy allow unnecessary censorship and interfere with this task. That is why this bill is needed. I'm here to support my students and to answer any questions you might have. I want to thank you for twice passing versions of this bill and to ask that you do so one more time.
Thank you, Cynthia. Shane Kanashiro, also in support. Welcome.
Okay, thank you, committee, for letting me testify in person. Hi, my name is Shane Kanashiro. I am the second year as a student journalist for the Opinion at McKinley High School. I am in support of this bill. The Opinion is currently 101 years old. Student journalists in the past have written about major historical events. They wrote about the truth from a student's perspective. We're doing that now too, even if it's controversial or might not make the school look good. What we don't write are things that this bill does not allow. For example, articles that are libelous. We have a staff editing structure and an advisor to help us with this. However, our current laws will allow a principal to censor articles for reasons that are far too subjective. This bill clearly spells out the rights and responsibilities of all involved in student journalism. That's why this law matters. Please support this bill. Thank you.
Thank you, Shane. Jennifer Azuma Chupalik. I'm sorry. Jennifer? Not sure. Jerome Linear? Jerome?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Jerome Lanier, speaking in support of this bill. I'm in my second year as a student journalist at McKinley High School. In news writing class, I've been taught press law, news value, and journalistic ethics. We are very lucky at McKinley High School that our principal and advisor understands and wants to help us grow as journalists. Even if they don't agree or like what we write, so long as we do it ethically. But that's here at McKinley. I want all Hawaiian student journalists protected. Schools are supposed to help prepare students for the future. How is letting administrators censor articles that they don't agree with help our future journalists? This bill will create better education and better democracy. Thank you.
Thank you, Jerome. Althea Cunningham?
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Althea Cunningham, and I'm a reporter and editor for The Opinion at McKinley High School. Currently, school principals and advisors can censor student productions, but as an editor, I get to see firsthand how responsible and passionate my fellow staff mates and friends are about covering current events. Through my experience of working with them, I have never seen intent to misuse information to purposely harm anyone. Hawaii student journalists should be protected and report in confidence without the fear of censorship, and truly show what they've learned about press law, ethics, leadership, and integrity. I believe this bill will create better education opportunities and promote healthy growth within the journalism community. Thank you for this opportunity, and please support this bill.
Thank you. I want to say the Black and Gold have certainly been well represented today. McKinley. Members, is there anyone else wishing to testify on this measure? If not, members, any questions?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Sure.
Vice Chair.
Thank you. My question are for the students of McKinley High School. Have you written any pieces regarding the call to rename McKinley High School? I would love to see them. If you guys could send them to us, we would appreciate reading them. Thank you very much.
Senator Kitagawa, question?
For the department.
Department.
Good
In your
afternoon.
testimony, you mentioned the two board policies that exist right now, but how is Hazelwood and Tinker applied in practice?
I would need to get back to you on that. I'm not sure.
Is that covered by your by any policy that exists right now?
I would need to go back and take a look.
I'm just saying that if you're leaving it up to each principal or each teacher, isn't it better to have a policy set on statute then that appropriately applies the Hazelwood and Tinker decisions?
So if you're asking if it would be better for a statewide law to guide this work rather than individual principals, I think the programs that you have at different high schools would depend on how they may need to provide their procedures and processes. Some programs are larger than others.
No, the question for us on this bill is whether or not censorship will be applied individually by the principals based on some unarticulated standard, or whether or not the Hazelwood and Tinker standards should be put in statute, and so that all teachers, all principals know what the standards are. I mean, you haven't brought us policy that talks about Hazelwood or Tinker and how they should be applied here.
Okay, well, I think, yes, we would need to maybe provide you with more information on that.
Oh, but you've gone to, this was a triple referral on the House side, so you've had 3 opportunities to provide testimony on this bill. And I think most of the testimony has been about the same, so. Is there more information?
I think we provided the information that we, in relation to the bill. If you're asking specifically about the Hazelwood case and how, and the applications, I would like to go back to review more of the details. And
Well, do you know what the Hazelwood and Tinker cases said?
I am not, I would need to go back and look at the details. I
Do you have any idea
apologize.
what pedagogical reasons could be given to censor a student publication? Do you have any examples of what that would be?
No, I'm sorry, not at this time.
Okay.
And yes.
Thank you, Chair.
Any other questions? I have a question for Ms. Reeves. Cynthia. What kind of training do your students, your journalism students get right now?
We start out the year with law and ethics.
Okay.
So they are aware of Tinker, they are aware of Hazelwood, they are aware of libel, despite the fact that they mispronounced libelous, that they are aware of what libel is.
Okay.
And they are aware that I am an advisor. And if they choose to break rules, they know I can stop them if they do something that's libelous. They also know that if they do something that's not illegal, but that is against my advice, they're the ones who are going to sit in front of whoever complains. So that's the beginning of what they are taught, is law and ethics.
So if this measure passes, what more training would they need?
At McKinley, none. I have taught them everything that they need.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you. So DOE, Terry? You said in your testimony at the end that if this measure passes, you would need funding for training. And yet we just heard that Kids in Journalism already receives the training. So I'm not sure what kind of funding you need and what more training are you talking about?
So I think it would be more awareness that it's now a law and maybe what that means. And also guidance to schools in terms of procedures that should be included in the school student publishing approval process. There's things in here such as needing to make sure that they have reasonable timelines in order for the advisors to review. Otherwise, the items would be considered approved. And also to just reinforce and make sure the student, teacher, and advisor and administrator roles are cleared, and possibly other identified areas.
Okay, but shouldn't that be in the normal role of teachers and education? And as we've just heard from McKinley, that's already taught. So yeah, you may have to add a few, but to say that, because this doesn't have any money in it. This bill doesn't even go to Ways and Means. So to say at this juncture that you would need money for training, I'm really perplexed by that. I'm not sure what more training that's already embedded into these journalism students.
I think it would be to just bring folks up to date on the most current
But that doesn't take extra
and-
money. Shouldn't that be part of whatever updates you folks do now on a regular basis? And whenever there's a change to something, you don't come running to the legislature every time there's a change and to update, do you?
No, we do not.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Members, any other questions? If not, turn it back over. So I guess we're going to decision.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're going to go into decision making, so can you put us in a breakout room?
Recess. Yeah.
Oh. Resuming the joint hearing on the Committee on Education and Committee on Higher Education. Members, for House Bill 1775 HD2, the recommendation of the chair is going to be to pass this bill relating to civil rights with amendments to address the concerns from the AG's office by adding a definition for the educational program or activity and also some technical and non-substantive amendments. Any questions, members? If not, House Bill 1775 HD2 to pass with amendments. Chair votes aye.
For the Committee on Education, Chair's recommendation is to pass with amendments. Chair votes aye. Vice Chair Kim.
Aye.
Senator Dela Cruz.
Aye.
I vote aye. Senator Favela.
Aye.
Chair 5 ayes. Recommendation is adopted.
Okay, for House Bill 1848,
Seven.
House Draft.
Do you want to do?
Oh,
for 1775?
sorry. Same recommendation for Higher Education Committee, House Bill 1775, House Draft 2. Any discussion for Higher Ed Committee? If not, Chair votes aye.
For Committee on Higher Education, Chair's recommendation passed with amendments. Chair votes aye. Senator Kidani.
Aye.
Senator Keith Agaran.
Aye.
Senator Wakai. Used. And Senator Favela.
Aye.
Chair 4 ayes. Recommendation is adopted.
Thank you. It's a little confusing because education had the lead with higher ed, and now I'm the lead and education is second, and that's why we have somebody else taking the votes because it gets confusing. Okay, House Bill 1848, House Draft 2 relating to student journalism. The recommendation is to amend the bill to just put in some clarifying language on page 4, line 15 and page 8, line 20. Just adding in the words or the First Amendment of the United States Constitution following under this section. So just clarifying and to put an effective date upon approval. I don't believe that we need any funding in this. If you do, you can come back in, but at this point, it doesn't appear that funding is needed and there is no appropriation in this bill as well. Members, any questions, any discussions? Hearing none, the chair votes aye.
For the Committee on Higher Education, with 4 members present, are there any reservations? Any opposition? Chair, your recommendation is adopted.
Thank you.
Hearing is adjourned.
Oh, wait, you gotta.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. See, I told you it was confusing.
I'm sorry. For the Committee on Education, the same recommendation.
Chair's recommendation for the
Chair votes aye.
Committee on Education is to pass with amendments with 5 members present. Any with reservations? Any opposition? Chair recommendation is adopted.
Thank you. This hearing is. Good afternoon. We are now convening the Committee on Education, our 3:10 p.m. agenda. The Zoom meeting and YouTube live stream event will include the 3 o'clock agenda, 3:10 agenda for the Committee on Education. In the unlikely event that we have to abruptly end this hearing due to major technical difficulties, the committee will reconvene to discuss any outstanding business on Friday, March 18, 2022 at 3 o'clock p.m. in this committee room. And a public notice will be posted on the legislature's website. I'd like to take this time to remind our testifiers that due to time restrictions on our hearings, we will be limiting testimony to 1 minute per testifier per bill. For people participating remotely, please remain muted and video disabled until shortly before it is your turn to testify. When I call your name, staff will unmute you so that you can move, and your time will begin. After your minute is completed, staff will mute you that we can move this hearing along in an orderly and efficient manner. First on the agenda is House Bill 1561, HD1, relating to education, establishes within the Department of Education a workforce readiness program to provide opportunities for students to earn associate degrees, workforce development diplomas, pre-apprenticeship certificates, and other industry recognized certificates. Requires the department to designate schools, including adult community schools, to participate in the program. Appropriates funds for the workforce readiness program and 2 full-time equivalent adult workforce readiness program coordinator positions. To testify, Kitayashi, interim superintendent.
Good afternoon, Chair Kidani, Vice Chair Makoto Kim, and members of the committee. Again, Terry Ushijima, Interim Assistant Superintendent with the Department of Education, testifying on behalf of Interim Superintendent Kitayashi. The Hawaii State Department of Education stands on its written testimony supporting HB 1561, House Draft 1. Thank you for the opportunity to provide testimony.
Thank you, Terry. Next to testify, Osa Tui Jr. for HSTA.
Aloha chairs and members of the committee. Laverne Moore speaking on behalf of Osaturi Jr., the Hawaii State Teachers Association president. The HSA supports this bill and we stand on our written testimony, and I want to make some comments as a SPED teacher. This program is truly the way to serve our diverse student population with different modes of learning. This program will improve graduation rates and assist 9th grade retention. For the transition from middle school to high school is where we lose our 9th graders after the first semester. This workforce readiness program is a second chance for our students and adults, and the appropriation of state funds earmarked for this program is needed for the development, implementation, and coordination of a workforce readiness diploma program for Hawaii. Mahalo for the opportunity to testify.
Thank you, Laverne. Next to testify, Trevor Abrazo.
Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee, Trevor Abrazo with the Chamber of Commerce Hawaii. We stand on our written testimony in support of the measure and just want to make some comments. And with the rise in student debt and the workforce shortages across multiple industries, our small businesses and all our members are behind this bill and many other career and sector partnerships within the education community. So happy to answer any questions and thank you for hearing this bill.
Thank you, Trevor. We appreciate the Chamber's testimony. Next to testify, Helen Sampe from McKinley Community School for Adults.
Good afternoon, Helen Sanpe, Principal, McKinley Community School for Adults. We stand on our written testimony in support of this bill and are available for questions should you have any. Thank you.
Thank you. And we have other written testimony with one with comments and all the rest in support. Are there any others in the audience who wish to testify on this measure? If not, members, are there any questions?
I have a question for Trevor. Just a quick question, put you on the spot here. So Trevor, I certainly appreciate what you have to say about student debt and how we can help our students to get into the workforce and limit what their burdens are going to be in the future. But what else is the chamber doing other than just supporting a bill like this? How are you trying to get the university to lower not just the tuition, but their expenses, so they don't have to pass on all this costs to the students.
Right. Well, I could speak on what the chamber is doing to partner with high schools and also middle schools throughout the state to bring through work-based learning and sector
No,
partnerships.
I'm
So
talking about University of Hawaii. How are we lowering the cost of education for our graduates, high school graduates that attend university?
well, with our membership, across all industries and across large and small businesses, we have a lot of stakeholders at the table with the university. And, us being the convener of the private sector with the education community as well as the university, that's been an ongoing conversation and one that's active right now. And I know it's an issue across the country, but especially here in Hawaii, and one that's topical. So kind of what we're doing is convening the leaders and along with our board and our members and with the private sector to help, because it's an issue, not only with students, but also too with the workforce and people graduating and having this extreme debt. So I appreciate you bringing that up, Senator.
I certainly appreciate our chamber taking a proactive role. I just would like to see folks more front and center on some of these issues regarding the university and some of the expenses that we keep pointing out in the leadership. So thank you.
Thank you, Senator.
Members, further questions? If not, I don't think we need to break that into this.
We got one more measure.
Yeah. Okay, moving on to House Bill 1834 relating to education. Requires the DOE to establish and administer the Strong Students Grant Pilot Program to provide grants for eligible education expenses to eligible students. Requires the DOE to submit progress reports to the legislature prior to the 2023 and 2024 regular sessions. Appropriates funds for the pilot program. And to testify, Interim Superintendent Hayashi.
Thank you. Good afternoon again, Chair Kidani, Vice Chair Mercado, members of the committee. Terry Ushijima, Interim Assistant Superintendent with the Department of Education, testifying on behalf of Interim Superintendent Keith Hayashi. The Hawaii State Department of Education stands on its written testimony and provides comments on HB 1834, House Draft 2. Thank you for this opportunity to testify.
Thank you, Terry. Next to testify, Osatui Jr. for Hawaii State Teachers Association.
Aloha Chair and members of the committee, Laverne Morse speaking on behalf of Osatui Jr., President of the Hawaii State Teachers Association. The Hawaii State Teachers Association respectfully opposes House Bill 1834 HD2. We believe that those funds would be better used if provided directly to the DOE to provide these technology tools directly to students, rather than establishing a potentially complicated and administratively burdensome grant program implemented by a private third party. And another note I want to point out is, look at from another perspective, the funds appropriated in this bill could also potentially be used to support teachers directly by providing them funds to purchase classroom supplies rather than our teachers buying them with money from their own pockets as they currently do. We appreciate the opportunity to testify. Thank you.
Thank you. Next to testify, Yvonne Lau, Interim Executive Director, Hawaii State Public Charter School Commission.
Good afternoon, Chair Kidani, Vice Chair Kim, members of the committee. We stand on our written testimony in support of the bill and are appreciative of your committee, including our charter school students in this potential program. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Yvonne. Next to testify, David Miyashiro, Founding Executive Director, Hawaii Kids Can.
Aloha, Chair Kidani, Vice Chair Kim, and members of the committee. Hawaii Kids Can stands on our written testimony in strong support. We did want to highlight that this funding is by definition not duplicative. This streamlined program would help parents fill pukas and address needs they can't already. We also don't believe this program needs the full appropriation articulated by the DOE to start, so it won't divert significant resources and doesn't take funds from school budgets. Lastly, this program is about helping kids and families and would actually take some of the pressure off of the backs of schools and teachers during these challenging times. We've heard from educators who are burnt out and exhausted from having to wear all hats during the pandemic. This bill would be good for kids, parents, educators, and our state. Mahalo.
Thank you, David. The testifiers, additional testifiers are not present on Zoom. They the comments and support, and Craig Wright with comments on the bill. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to testify on this bill that has not spoken yet? If not, members, I don't think we need to go into the breakout room.
But I have questions.
Questions? Okay. Senator Kim.
Yes, I guess DOE, Terry. I'm trying to figure out, and maybe I'm not reading the bill right. So how exactly is this money given out, and how is it monitored being spent?
So based on reading the bill, it would be a third party that we would have to select, and I believe they would have to identify which students would be qualified, and also examine documents such as their tax information. In terms of monitoring, we would need to learn more about the tool that whatever third party is selected. So, and it would be on a first come, first served based on how much money, I guess, is available. So
What can they spend this money on?
according to the bill, it would be computer hardware, internet access, textbook curriculum or other instruction materials, fees for national standardized assessments or placement tests, and therapies, for example, speech, language, and I guess therapy, occupational, behavior, or physical therapy. And so that's what's being proposed.
And the third party, what kind of expenses would we incur for that?
If this bill is passed, we would have to figure that out.
So what part, how much is this program going to cost?
So if it's done in an equitable manner where we estimate that there's approximately 79,000 students who currently receive free or reduced price meals. And if that's 1,000 per student, they'll receive 79, it'll cost about 79 million.
79 million. And of the 79 million, how much of that is going to go to the third party?
I think there would need to be additional funds that would go to the, that would be needed to obtain a third party. We don't know that information. We would have to research and figure that out.
Well, remember the program you folks are now looking at where you would do assessments of kindergarteners, that one-time assessment, and it was going to cost us at some point $1 million for a one-time assessment.
The kindergarten entry assessment.
Right. Or during the kindergarten at some point. And I mean, it was like horrendous amount of cost for what we were getting for a one-time assessment that changes so quickly for kindergarteners that it would not even probably be good a year or two later. But that kind of expense could be better utilized other ways. And I'm just looking at this third party to get them to, one, get the families to participate, to go through the documents, and then somebody's got to monitor to make sure that these monies are spent in accordance. And then it's so broad, you can use it for speech therapy, for medical, I mean, it sounds like it's crazy.
It would be a very large challenge for us to
But yet you guys are
implement it.
supporting it.
No, we're
I'm sorry, I thought
providing
you were supporting it.
comments.
Okay, so you think it would be difficult for you folks? It says supports the intent. I guess, of
Yes,
the
we
bill.
support the intent because we care about students and
Well, we all care about students. But, I mean, is
Yes.
it practical that these monies are gonna? Okay. Because didn't the federal government give each family per child monies?
and
It's done already.
that's not just us though.
No, I know, but
yeah,
I'm just
mhm.
saying it's helping.
Yes.
Probably families that are on free and reduced lunch.
Yes, and our schools do reach out to families in need, and we have those structures in place that our folks are working very hard to do.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Members, further questions? If not, I think we will go into the breakout room. Reconvening the Committee on Education, we are deliberating on the two bills before us. Members, the recommendation of the chair will be to pass out House Bill 1561 with amendments, and the amendments is to insert a effective date of July 1, 2051. Questions? Chair votes aye.
Okay, voting on House Bill 1561, House Draft 1 to pass with amendments. Vice Chair votes aye, Vice Chair votes aye, Senator De La Cruz.
Aye.
Senator Kanuha.
Aye.
Senator Favela. 5 ayes, recommendations adopted.
Thank you, members. And for House Bill 1834, House Draft 2, recommendation of the chair is going to be to defer this bill, noting that there is a Senate Bill 2816 that was passed out earlier and is in the House now. Questions, members? Thank you.